I used to watch this show when I was younger, and it used to scare the absolute shit out of me. And even later on, when I would go marathon it during the summer when I was home from school, I would stop watching it when the streetlights came on. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my Halloween theme review for Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction. Now, Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction was a TV show that was based, that told stories that were based around ghosts, supernatural stuff, coincidences, destiny, things like that. You know, unusual or weird occurrences going on. I loved it. It aired from the late 90s, I think from like 98 or 99 to 2002. And it's basically gotten a cult following, at least enough to be put on Amazon Prime Video. I think the DVD for season 1 was released in like 2008 or 2007 or something like that. But it used to sporadically air. Like there were months in between airing. I remember a friend from grade school and I, mind you, this is 98, 99, maybe even 2000. It used to air on Fox, I think Friday nights, and it hadn't come on in so long. You know, we used to be wondering when the hell it was going to air. Did it get canceled? What the fuck was going on? But I love this show. It's an anthology show. Every episode is something different. It's based around different stories, and even some episodes have themes. Like there's one episode based around Friday the 13th, right? Whether that's an unlucky day or a lucky day, depending on who you talk to. But this particular episode that I'm going to talk about is from season 1, episode 2. Now, the reason that I'm going to talk about episode 2 is really interesting. Now, the premise behind the show is that they tell 5 stories. Some are true, some are false. That's why it has the subtitle Fact or Fiction. They never, in the first season, they don't give sources as to how they found out stories were true or not. But in later seasons, they started giving super vague sources at the end of episodes. That's when they would reveal the story, if the stories were true or false. And the first season was hosted by James Brolin, father of Josh Brolin. Second season was hosted by Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek fame. I think it started like season 3. I don't think they really did it in season 2, but maybe they started in season 3. If a story was true, Jonathan would say, was this story based on true events? Yes. Something similar happened in New York in the late 80s. That's the most we would get. Now, some of the stories are based on, some of the stories that they said were fact were based on urban legends, right? Well-known urban legends that you can look up and see that there are no accounts of this ever happening. So the veracity of whether or not these stories are true is a toss-up, really. But season 2 was interesting because, you know, for a time, I spent time trying to look up the sources to find out if, you know, what happened. Because there has to be a kernel of truth with the story, right? And they might just have writers that are adding these haunting elements to it. Like there's one story in the later season where a lawyer gets off his client, but his client ends up confessing to him after he's already been, you know, exonerated or been cleared of all charges in court. And so he gives him a really, really nice pen, and he says, no, you're going to need that to get the devil's autograph. So the guy ends up tripping, getting into the elevator. It like shifts a little bit before he steps in. He trips over it, pen stabs him in the heart. And it said that it was true that it happened in New York or Pennsylvania, somewhere on the East Coast in like the late 70s or something like that. If that's true, there has to be a kernel of truth. Some dude probably tripped going into an elevator, right? So there has to be some type of kernel of truth that was exaggerated upon for the theatrics of the episode. But this episode, season 1, One of the stories I actually did find out was true. There was the first story was a kid whose family has a funeral home. His parents go take his little brother and they go out somewhere. They leave him, because the funeral home, they live at the funeral home as well. It's one of those funeral homes that has like attached house or home to it. He's there by himself watching TV. He gets a knock at the door. It's a guy who says he's a friend of the deceased. He has this medals that his wife is looking for. His dad, before they left, they got a call from the deceased wife saying, hey, do you have the medals? He must be buried with those. I don't know where they are. So the guy says, hey, I have these medals. I'm not able to make it. Can I please just see them? The kid says, yeah, sign the login. Go see him, go put the medals on, whatever. The guy takes a while. The kid goes in there. He's not in there. He goes up to the casket. The guy who came and knocked at the door with the medals was the guy in the casket to be buried tomorrow. They said that was true. Who knows what the kernel of truth is there. There's another story. This couple they're having, they decide to have a little date night. They get on the train. They might be in New York. They get on the train. The train seemingly stops nowhere. It literally just runs and runs and runs. It's driving past all the stops. They see one guy on the train, and he's like, hey, where does this train go? And he's all ominous. This train goes nowhere. They're freaked out a little bit. Next stop, it's the same stop that they got on at. They just get off the train. They go back home. They smell gas, and it's coming from their neighbor's apartment. They get in, they get her out, but they notice that she has a picture of the guy that they saw on the train. That's her husband who died 20 years ago, who told her he'd always watch over her. Again, who knows what the kernel of truth is? But the interesting story is the third one, about a kid who has like this active imagination. He thinks that there's a monster in his closet. Kids tease him about it at school. His brother is one of those kids. So that's probably why they have inside information as to, he thinks that there's a monster in his closet. Siblings are assholes. We see them chasing him home, and one day he's just fed up. He comes back outside with a baseball bat. Hey, I'll take all of y'all. He just starts wildly swinging it. They dodge it a couple of times, rush him, take him upstairs to his room. It's like, okay, let's see where this monster is at. They're making fun of him, this and that. It's like, why don't you? It's like, let's see if there's a monster in the closet. It's like, why don't you go in there? He's like, okay, fine, I will. His sister walks in, and his sister's like, hey, what's going on? Mom wouldn't like that. Well, shut up, Debbie. That was actually a funny moment. But the kid goes in the closet, immediately starts screaming, and you're thinking that he's just being dramatic, he's over-exaggerating. He starts screaming, hey, get me out of here, let me out, blah, blah, blah. Now, when his mom walks in the room, everybody gets silent, including him in the closet. Now, I think that was the only weird thing about the episode. You think if he was to be consumed or eaten by the monster or whatever like that, clearly it happened really, really quickly, right? But again, this is a show based on supernatural events that may or may not have occurred, and a lot of it is just the imagination of the writer. So who am I to nitpick how quickly a kid gets eaten by a monster, right? But that story turned out to be true. Now, the mom walks in, she like, what's going on here? They see that, they're teasing them. She opens up the closet, the kid's clothes are right there. And she's like, what's this? And one of his friends is like, that's so-and-so's clothes. That's weird. And she's like, what? He was just in the closet. And so she starts looking around, looking all confused, looks up at her youngest son, the one who's being teased, and he's like, I told you there was a monster in there. So it turns out, when looking up about that particular story, apparently was based on the fact that a kid did disappear in a closet, but they didn't know that there was some type of hidden attic door or hidden ladder to the attic or something like that. Basically, the kid went into the closet, escaped into the attic. There was some type of trap door or something like that they didn't know was there. lived, like stayed in the attic for like a day and was like living at his friend's house. He basically ran away to his friend's house. So that's what the episode was based on. Now, did I find like concrete sources, like a news article or something like that? No. This was something that I saw on the message boards that said, hey, this is what it's based on. I think there might be something online that you can look up and find. But out of all the stories that I tried to look up at the time, that I was looking up different stories that they said were true, this was the only one that I ever found anything related to. So I'm just going to take that this was actually based on the fact that a kid snuck out of the house through an attic door that nobody knew about, and ran away to his friend's house to live there for like a week before they found him. So yeah, I say if you're into anthology shows, check it out. Like I said before, it's on Amazon Prime. The acting isn't great. It's actually pretty bad, and it's way over the top in certain points. And a lot of the writing and dialogue isn't great either, but it's something about the music and something about the situations that they present that just creep me the fuck out whenever I watch this show. Even last night when I was watching an episode, I was like, you know what? I started to fall asleep. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want this on while I'm going to sleep. This is the last thing that I need on right now while I'm trying to go to sleep. So yeah, I suggest you guys check it out. It's an entertaining show, and it actually gets you wondering what the kernel of truth is, or what the kernel of truth is for the stories that they deem fact. It gets you wondering what the hell happened and what did they exaggerate. But again, check it out. It's on Amazon Video. So as always, guys, I appreciate all the support, whether it's 1 view or 100. Check out all the other videos. I just got my other video up for my Goosebumps review. I might actually go back and review something from Tales from the Crypt, because I really, really love Tales from the Crypt. So I might do something for that sometime in November as well. Busy season is about to start picking up at work in the next like 3 weeks or so. So I probably won't be doing as much again. Sorry. But yeah, check out everything else. We got other videos that'll hold you over until I get some more content up and out. So I'll catch up with you guys later.